Ciao, I'm Chef Marco, and today I'll teach you everything you need to know to make fresh pasta from scratch.
First off, what type of flour do you need to make pasta? Which one is the best? So right here I have all-purpose in the big bowl and 00 type 00 in the smaller one. So the 00 type, long answer short, is the best one for pasta. It has a very fine mile, it's lower in protein than the whole purpose, and it also has less gluten in it. But can get even more complicated than that. There are more types, different types of 00 flour. What really matters to you is that you can make pasta with whatever flour you want. Every one of them work. Before you ask, even if it's gluten-free, it works. Even all-purpose, maybe the ratio is gonna change a little bit, but we're gonna go through that in a second while we're actually making the dough.
Start by pouring the flour onto the counter and make a nice wide well at the center. We're gonna crack 4 whole eggs at the center, add a pinch of salt and start mixing them.
And here we talk ratio again, so the eggs are not all the same size. Depending on that, you're gonna need more or less flour. The best way to protect yourself from messing up is slowly adding flour, doing this movement of the fork, and you mix until it absorbs, and then you repeat again this movement of the fork and mix until it absorbs. If your dough is too sticky, you can add more flour. The other way around is a little more complicated. But let's start kneading so you can understand which texture we're looking for.
Use a bench scraper at first to prevent the dough from sticking on your hands. When the dough starts coming together, it's essential switching to your hands. Your touch is the most important tool you have in this process. Looking for a dry but malleable, elastic texture. Slowly add more flour if needed and keep working on the dough for about 7-10 minutes this way. Turn a quarter, flip, push, turn, flip, push. Keep doing it until you reach this. Here is how it should look like.
Now, to create the best gluten structure, which is gonna make the rolling easier, the dough needs to rest, so we're gonna roll it in plastic wrap and let it sit for the next 30 minutes at minimum. Just make sure no air is coming in, close it very tight, very important, or it's gonna dry and you don't want that. 30 minutes so far, we can start rolling. Everything you're gonna need is a mattarello, the rolling pin, and a knife or bench scraper. The knife works better. The majority of the people, even in Italy, use pasta machines for this purpose. I don't even know one for 2 reasons. One, I live in New York City, and if you have a little extra storage space, you use it for other things for sure, not for a pasta machine. And the second one is because making pasta from scratch, rolling it on a surface, it's gonna result in a rougher texture, which is better for holding the sauce. If you can, you wanna do that. If you have a pasta machine home, it works just fine. It's just gonna be a little more smooth. We're gonna create some of the most common and simple pasta shapes. Lasagna sheets, tagliolini, tagliatelle, and pappardelle. Everything just with our dough, the rolling pin, and the knife. From this moment on, always have some flour handy on the side. You're totally free to adding some if you notice that the dough is getting too sticky while rolling and working with it.
Start by rolling the dough a little bit on each side, turning a quarter each time. Usually you want to make it round. Today I already know I'm gonna need rectangular long stripes of pasta, so I'll insist more on those 2 directions.
Perfetto, from this moment on, when the dough is long enough, we're gonna work just on half at a time, otherwise it's gonna get too fragile, too elastic. To do so, just hang half of the dough out of your counter, block it with your hips and work just on a half, pushing a little bit more while you move forward and a little less coming back. And do it again, 3 or 4 times. Then we switch side. To do so, just roll the dough on the mattarello, on the rolling pin, toward you like this, block with your thumbs and switch. And we're gonna do it again. From this moment on, just make sure you're counting how many times you roll on each side, so you're gonna have a uniform pasta sheet. Other than that, very simple. We keep doing it. We say 3 or 4. So we roll on the mattarello toward us, block with the thumbs and switch. Okay, so the best indicator to stop rolling is the transparency of the dough. When you can see through the dough, it means that it's thick enough. In general, you can pick whichever thickness meets the best your taste. So if you're making dry pasta as we're doing today, just make it as thick as you want. If you're making filled pasta like ravioli and you have to put a filling in it, you want it a little more thick, but I'm gonna end up making a lot of tagliatelle, so I'm doing it thinner anyway. But in general, the rule is that if you can see through that, it means you can stop rolling and cut some pasta. Let's do it.
Lasagna sheets will be first. According to the size and shape of your baking pot, cut in the most convenient way. Lasagna is pretty much like a puzzle. My final purpose today is tagliatelle, so I'm making sure I'm cutting it at least 25-30 centimeters long. As you saw, I got a lot of pasta scraps, a lot of remaining pasta. That happens a lot when you don't use a machine. So as Italians, we invented a pasta shape that is perfect for this purpose. It's called Maltagliati, literally cut it in a bad way. And it's just little square-ish of pasta. I just usually put it in the freezer and use it to save a meal. They're great in broth, but you can use it pretty much with everything. Maltagliati.
And right here, this way, we already have lasagna sheets. Now you would just want to cook those and use it for lasagna, or make a bunch of long, famous pasta shapes that I'll show you in a second.
This is the easiest and fastest method. Roll both ends of each sheet toward the center, and with this cute pasta roll you can create some of the most famous pasta shapes. To do so, simply cut with a knife or a bench scraper more or less wide. 2 or 3 mm for tagliolini, 7 mm for tagliatelle and 20 to 40 for pappardelle.
Alright, and here we are. Today you guys learned so much. We saw how to make the pasta dough, and then we created the lasagna sheets, pappardelle, tagliatelle and tagliolini all in one video. I already have a video for ravioli with my brother on my page, but there's a lot more to come because the pasta shapes are pretty much endless. We're gonna go through as much as I can to share it with you. That was it for today. I'm not gonna cook it, I'll do it tomorrow with a very particular sauce. Green peas and pancetta, which is very common in Italy. I'm gonna share that video too, but that's it for today. If you wanna see how to cook it and how to pair those beautiful pasta shapes, make sure you subscribe to the channel because that is coming, but also way more from the Italian and Mediterranean tradition to avoid highly processed food and respect a little bit more your health.